Greetings and welcome to a discussions video here at Words About Games, where we talk about games with words and Pokemon sometimes appear in the wild. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined today by Bulbasaur. Say hi, Bulbasaur.
Professor.
It's Bulbasaur's first time on the podcast, and now that I'm thinking he can only say one thing, I'm not sure I should have invited him on a discussion. But oh well. We're going to talk about our most anticipated. Oh, Moody! Hi, how you doing? Didn't see you there.
I returned him to his Pokeball.
Ah, okay. So I think it's best if you take this discussion
That's fair.
rather than Bulbasaur. It's just a thought. I've got one lone Joy-Con behind me because I've misplaced the other one. Not sure where it is, but it's there, adding a bit of colour to the back of my desk, which I never use for anything apart from putting things on. That was going to be my nook, where I was going to write things or like work away from the computer. And I do both of those things on that big bed over there because it's much comfortabler.
That's understandable.
You ready to talk about some most anticipated games of 2020?
Why the hell not? Why the hell not?
Now, I know what everybody out there is watching this thing. Yeah, it's July, isn't it? Yeah, it's still July.
It's July. For another 2 days.
It's July. What are you talking about anticipated games for in July? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. We did do this in January. But you know what happened, Moody? Bunch of those games already came out. Bunch of them got delayed. Bunch more games got announced. And everybody else is like doing all these things where it's like, what's our game of the year so far? And I'm just like, I don't want to have that conversation in the summer. I don't have a game of the year so far. Played a bunch of good games. Played a couple of bad games. Played a lot of in-between games. Instead, I want to look forward and be excited. Gotta be excited about something in 2020. Might as well be video games.
That's true, because I ain't even been able to go on to get excited for movies, so it's all good.
We have to have that conversation on the post-show of the next podcast where we talk about what's it like being a movie podcaster right now. But we'll have that conversation in the future because I think that would be fun and interesting. And then I'll give you a hug virtually afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll let you kick it off this time because I think I kicked off in January. I think.
I can't fully remember, I won't lie. But,
no, it was 6 months ago, and I can't even remember 6 hours ago.
I can't remember 6 months ago, so though.
6 minutes.
My first game is a game that I was going to offer to maybe you and me hook up next week to play. Fall Guys, the Ultimate Knockout. The game that I saw you streaming. You streamed, Amy, last week.
I did.
Over on twitch.tv/Words About Games.
I was very fortunate to get codes from Clara over at Soundbox. Very nice lady. She gave me a code for myself and 59 codes to give out. And as we discussed on the podcast just gone, that was my entire Saturday night after I told people I had codes. Everything got nuked. But no, it was a good game. It was fun. It was the beta, which is just a fancy word for demo because I don't think they can really change the game too much because it comes out on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But this was also at the top of my list because I was like, I might as well start with the game that comes out in literal days. Mm-hmm. And say that. I played Fall Guys. It fucking rocks. It was so much fun.
Like it does. It does look like it. And thank you to PlayStation, because all I have to do is just renew for 1 month and get the game basically for free.
Yeah,
so I'm okay for that as well. It's yay! Thank you, PlayStation. I don't mind resubscribing for a PlayStation Plus just to get one game. I won't even be trying to get the other fucking game. I don't know. I think it's Call of Duty or whatever. Call of Duty. I loved what I was seeing what you play. I thought this looks so good. It just looks like it's going to be a good switch your brain off, have bonkers fun type of game. And we both saw it at Devolver Digital, I believe.
Devolver Digital. I saw it in Devolver, the Devolver Land Expo as well. Yeah, and the one they did in Trent. Because at E3 2019, they first showed it off. And they did the press stuff. And I remember someone was telling me about the press could go and play it at E3, and you had to take your shoes off before you went in because they'd made the demo station and it was like a soft play area with consoles to play the game. And yeah, like seeing the devs talk about it, I said to Keith in our post show for E3 2019, if Final Fantasy VII hadn't looked so good, Fall Guys would have been my game in the show. And
Yes,
I've waited a long time for this moment, and it's nearly upon me. And I've already played it, and it was so much fun. Apart from when that one guy like grabbed me and shoved me off the edge of the thing during the memory game, I was very angry. But it's just chaos. It's just 60 Fall Guys enter, one Fall Guy wins. In between, you play Takeshi's Castle, windmills and the rotating levels, and you just got to survive. And yeah, it's crazy. I played maybe 8, 9 of the 25 levels that there are available in the game.
Cool.
I think overall.
Yeah, this was number 2, I believe, on Twitch when it came to overall numbers of people streaming it.
It was just behind Just Chatting. So it was the number 1 game on Twitch over the weekend. The beta was on.
It was beating Fortnite, ladies and gentlemen. That's no mean feat.
Yeah. Well, they did a secret beta on, I want to say, Monday or Tuesday, where they updated the client and they didn't tell anyone there was a beta. But obviously people saw the update and were like, oh, and clicked it and it opened and it got to number 12 without them telling anyone that there was a beta. So it was just people noticing that it was updated, opening it, playing it, and streaming it, and it got all the way back up to number 12, and they without them telling people that it was live. It's a perfect game for Twitch. It's a fun game for people to watch. It's a fun game to stream. It's an easy game to like entertain with. Whereas most of the games I play can be quite difficult to entertain with. Like, you ever tried entertaining someone while you're playing Resident Evil 4? No, because it's not easy. It ain't. But yeah, it's a fun looking game. That was my first one as well, so I'll move on to my second one. I have to be very level and calm about this game because there's a prediction riding on any of my reactions to this game, which is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I don't even know if it is coming out in 2020 anymore. The odds are narrowing on that. Every day that they don't tell us when it's coming out, like they did the Paradox Insider thing during that one crazy weekend when everybody had all the Guerrilla Collectives and the future game shows and whatnot. They didn't give us a release date, but they did show us some really cool stuff for the game. It's more Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Like that game was one of my favorites. Oh, is one of my favorites. Like, came out on the same day as Half-Life 2, and I played Vampire, and I didn't play Half-Life 2. Like, I love the universe. I love the original game. I love the fact that they got a lot of the writers to come back and work on Bloodlines 2 to keep that sort of the feeling, keep the magic going of that original Bloodlines game. Hopefully the combat gameplay can be improved, and hopefully there can be less bugs, because those are the two main issues with the original release. And if they can do that and keep everything else at the level that it was at, it's going to be a very impressive RPG.
Yeah, I have no affiliation to this game whatsoever. I've never played the first one, so I can't make any comments on it. So, good. I hope you enjoy it when you play it.
I remember your reaction to the creepy trailer at the Xbox show.
Yes, that is true.
That was about it. Yeah, like you'll see my video. What I might do is I might do a text to speech thing, so Keith can't tell if I'm losing my shit or not. When I talk about it, I'll just type all the words into text to speech. Won't that be a video?
That would be a video indeed.
Suck it, Keith. You shouldn't have made a prediction that was dependent on me losing my mind, because I lost it years ago. Do you know what's next on your list?
I have, I think I'm safe to say, a guaranteed launch title for the PlayStation 5, and that's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Spider-Man. can't say anything wrong with it. I've literally just ranked all the Spider-Man movies on my podcast.
I saw that.
Might have had to fire one of my co-hosts because he picked wrong. So
It happens all the time, Moody.
It does indeed.
Co-hosts being wrong about stuff. Happens all the time.
I know. That is true. Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's Insomniac game again. They did a great Spider-Man game in 2018. I want to say yes.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was one of the best games of that year. You made you feel like you were Spider-Man, just like the Arkham games made you feel like Batman, and that's a great feat. It was a fantastic gameplay. It was a great story. That ending I did not see coming with a certain thing that happens, which I won't spoil for anybody, just in case you haven't played it yet. But I'm super excited. This was the thing. I think this was probably the biggest surprise overall that we saw when it came to PlayStation's event, because we didn't expect at least a Spider-Man game from Insomniac this early. And even though, yes, they have muddled the lines of what this actually is, we do believe it is a standalone game, but it's a smaller edition type version, like Lost Legacy. But it's Miles Morales. Miles Morales just had the best Spider-Man film ever. In Into the Spider-Verse, and
Correct.
if they just get half the heart of that film into the character here, it's gonna be fantastic. But the IP itself, the name Spider-Man sells it already. So yeah, Spider-Man can't ask much more.
That's true. Yeah, like Into the Spider-Verse is like far and away. It's not even a contest. It's the best Spider-Man film ever made. Miles Morales is a fantastic character, both in other media, but also the Miles Morales that we met in 2018 Spider-Man. And yeah, the story of the Insomniac Spider-Man game, like the actual narrative, like it gives me faith that they know how to do a Spider-Man story, like, because that's what it was. It felt like it was just another Spider-Man story, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but like, oh, it's just another Spider. I mean, they nailed it. Like the ending, like you say, like the ending is top tier, top shelf. That is exactly a Spider-Man moment, or like a Peter Parker moment. Like, you could have taken that straight from the comics, because that's how much they understand Spider-Man. So for them to carry that forward into a Miles Morales standalone expansion, while they're obviously making, the next main experience, because there's Peter Parker's got some stuff to do in the future of Insomniac Spider-Man. But yeah, like it gives me hope. Like, I really enjoyed Miles' character, his arc. It was nice to see the two characters together, Peter and Miles. And the gameplay is going to be... Hell, the gameplay could be just the same. It won't be, because Miles will have different abilities than Peter.
Yeah, he does have different abilities. So that's the thing. That's the exciting thing about it.
That's the thing that sets it apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could just be the same, and I'd be like, cool, that's fine. Like, I don't expect you to innovate until next Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be mostly the same. There's no doubt about that. But I think, yeah, because of his unique moveset, what he's able to do, he's going to tweak it just enough to make it just that fresh enough. And that's what sometimes those games need to do. Like, I've just said it when I played the F1 game. They've just added a concept that's already been known for years, what's been on in other games before. But that one little tweak has refreshed the entire game, and it's made it more relevant. So that's how good a tweak can really do when it comes to video games sometimes, ladies and gentlemen.
I know I said I retired the Bloodborne Hunter, but Sylveon keeps falling over, so Sylveon can lean against the Bloodborne Hunter.
Does she not give her attention?
Speaking of Bloodborne, my next most anticipated game of 2020, because my turn, is Hollow Knight Silksong, which is a bit Souls-ish.
Hollow Knight's a good game.
Hollow Knight, amazing game. Still angry I slept on it for so long. I remember. Told the story. Telling the story.
You slept on this game.
I slept on this game. Here's what happened, Mooney. Came out in 2017. Early 2017. Now, you remember what happened in early 2017. We all do. We were all there. It was a meat grinder at games. So I was probably playing Neo at the time, which I was gushing about non-stop for ages. But they sent me the code for Hollow Knight. I never redeemed it on my Steam and put it up there, and I was like, cool. But I'm not gonna be able to get to it.
Get to it, yeah.
So Russ was doing reviews for me at the time as well, and I just said to Russ, look, Hollow Knight, are you interested? And he looked at the trailer. He went, yeah, I'm interested. And he played it for a bit. Came back on a podcast. Did his stuff. He was like, it's fantastic. It's amazing, etc., etc. I was like, awesome. Like, when we did that video, like, Horizon, Mass Effect, Legend of Zelda were all imminent. And I was like, all right, cool. It's just going to go in the back of my mind. Like, and I'll be like, cool, I'll file that away for something I need to get to. And I think it was all the way to October, I think it was. And we were doing a charity stream. It was just me and Keith. I was up next. I was like, I don't know what to do. Hollow Knight was there. And I was like, I'll play Hollow Knight. I played Hollow Knight for a couple hours, and then I rotate off the PC. And I was like, that was fun. I should get back to it. We all know what happened at the end of 2017. We're going to tomorrow some games. So I was like, all right, fuck shit. And it was like, I was like midway through 2018. I was like, right, I've got to fucking sit down and play this fucking game because it came out on Switch and everyone was talking about it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to fucking sit down. I'm going to fucking play this game. I'll play the game. It was amazing. I was like, I was angry with myself. Just keep kicking it down the road. Kick it down the road a bit more.
At least you did get to it eventually.
I did get to it eventually, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I did play it, and it was awesome. And now I've played a bit of Silksong in EGX last year. It's different enough. Like we just talking about with Spider-Man, with Miles, where it's like Silk's moves are different. The way Silk attacks is different, which makes it's Hollow Knight, but it's a little bit different. Just different enough that it's its own thing. I can see why they've spun it off into like a sequel as opposed to just being DLC, which is the original plan. I just wish someone would tell me when it's coming out. It's been a while. Yeah, probably. But no, it's gonna kick ass when it comes out, and I'm not sleeping on it this time. I don't give a shit what else is coming out, unless it's Vampire. Then we got a problem. But apart from that, I'll kick anything out of the way. Fucking anything. Cyberpunk, get the fuck out of here. I'm playing Hollow Knight. That's where I'm at with Hollow Knight.
Bug snacks?
Ooh. We'll see whatever happens. We'll see what happens.
Next PlayStation event reveals the next Silk gives a release date.
I'm like, woo, and then Hollow Knight, and I'll be like, woo, oh no.
Oh shit.
Because you know what could happen? The triple threat, all three come out on the same day, and I'll just be like, quit my job. That's it. I'll quit my day job.
I've come to the incredibly difficult decision. Only difficult because I really need money, but the reasoning is because I have to play 3 games and
I need to play 3 games all at once. I don't have time for you, so
yeah.
It is with great regret, but not much, that I must tender my resignation because
effective immediately.
Effective yesterday. That's why this is an email.
I forgot to send it to you.
If you try to contact me, I will be playing Bugs Night.
I might answer you, but you will not be hearing anything but except the Bug Snacks.
You'll not be hearing anything but Bug Snacks. It's Bug Snacks. What's your next game, dude?
Come to Xbox Game Pass next month. Tell me why. I love Don't games. I can't fault them personally when it comes to story. Life is Strange 1, 2, and Left Behind were absolutely fantastic. No, Before the Storm were absolutely fantastic for me. I really enjoyed the stories, what they were doing it for it, and Tell Me Why. It looks like it's just going to do. Knowing from the history they've had with strong storytelling that they have, adding in certain little tweaks and everything, I really enjoy. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to this one, and it's all. I love it even more that it's the first episode's in August. 2 weeks later is the second episode. 2 weeks after that is the third one and final one. That I love that. That's the only thing that's hurt the Don't Nod games, that you've waited months on months for the second and third one and everything. That's why That's why 9 times out of 10, like even when it came to the Telltale games, a lot of people waited until all the episodes are out to binge it all at once and everything. So
yeah, I feel like it worked in terms of The Walking Dead for Telltale because that was such a monumental experience.
it was the phenomenon.
That was a phenomenon. It was a moment in time. Literally everyone was talking about it whenever a new episode came out. And then it didn't work for them going forward because that conversation was never there. So when they had like when Telltale had like their Game of Thrones game or their the Tales from the Borderlands game, it was like those were still good games, but
especially the Borderlands. Borderlands was awesome,
but it didn't have that massive conversation around it, so people would forget about it, or people would literally just be like, "Well, I can afford to wait because like my entire Twitter timeline isn't talking about this in the way that they were talking about Lee and Clementine," and I feel like that was. Because we have to talk about episodic games having their moment in time, but I don't think it was episodic games that had their moment in time. I think it was literally just The Walking Dead that had its moment.
Pretty much 2 characters.
Yeah, pretty much 2 characters, Lee and Clementine.
And they kept going with the Clem storyline, where that's where you were interested when it came to the Walking Dead games. You were wanting to be Clem and look after Clem and do the things for Clem and everything. And yeah, but the other games didn't really have the hype behind them.
No, it was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, even though I will defend the first episode of Game of Thrones, it was awesome. I can't deny it. For me, that ending was just like, how did I not see that was going to happen? Because it's fucking Game of Thrones, but it was still awesome at the same time.
Bring it back to Don't Know and tell me why. I'm obviously excited for this game for many reasons. I love the fact that they put out the FAQ after the Xbox game showcase, where it's like, look, here's the FAQ, and it tells you everything that I personally need to know, and it's like, there's spoilers in here. They're not like, it doesn't go into great detail, but it does tell me what I need to know, and it's like, I'm perfectly happy to have those spoilers, to know that I'm not in a Deadly Premonition 2 situation, where it's like, this game is gonna fucking be a dick to me. It's like, I know Tell Me Why it's not going to be a dick to me.
Or even a shout out to The Last of Us Part 2 as well.
Yeah, even a shout out to The Last of Us Part 2, where it was like, it's like, it was handled better, but it's still a thing, and it came out of nowhere, and if they just had an FAQ where it was like, hey, this, I would have been like, cool, I'm prepared for it, or not, if I decided not to go for it. Whereas with Tell Me Why, it's like, I don't need to prepare myself for that game, I can just play it. And that's cool. Like, that is cool. And I'm looking forward to it. Game Pass, innit? Don't even have to worry about how I'm going to get it. I'm just going to wake up one day and it's going to be on my Xbox.
Like we said on the latest episode of the Words About Games, Gamescast, ladies and gentlemen, on our post show, we talk about all the things of why the hell Game Pass is the greatest thing out there right now.
We do.
And why everyone is ignoring it.
And if you think this is the last Game Pass game that's coming up today, oh, you're wrong. You're wrong. You are just wrong. But my next game isn't a Game Pass game. It's a PC game.
You had the hype. You had it going in perfect, and then you turned away.
I bailed.
You bailed out. Yeah.
I bailed for Fights in Tight Spaces, which was a demo I played over the Steam Summer Game Festival, where they released like 900 demos. And I sifted through about 20 of them. And I was like, that was a lot. And then you look at how many there were and you're like, ooh, shit. But this was a really good game. It's a strategy-ish, card-ish game. It basically, the best way I could probably describe it is, and this is going to sound derivative, but hear me out. It's a bit of Slay the Spire, and a bit of XCOM, and a bit of John Wick. That. And it looks like super hot. So you go through, you do these. Essentially, you're just making your way along the board, like getting into fights with people, in tight spaces. So you're fighting on this small grid. There's enemies. They're coming at you. Some of them have guns. Some of them, and essentially it's turn based. And you do all these and your cards that you get, you can play a certain amount of cards per turn, and those cards are your movements, your moves, your attacks, your whatever. And you essentially just got to control the board and manipulate the board, avoid getting hit, and beat the crap out of all the people. It's great. It's so great. I did a demo video of it, a preview, which you can check out on YouTube channel. Like, I go from, this is cool, to, I don't know how I feel about this, to getting to the end of where I was at for previewing it and being like, it's fucking great. Like, I'll push you into the path of that bullet, and oh, look, there's a door. I'm going to push you out of the door, and now I'm going to kung fu kick you in the face. Whoopah! And it was just like, yeah, and it's all just a card game that makes me feel like John Wick, but without a gun, because that's just...
We all want to be breathtaking like him.
I do, yeah. If I could kick ass like John Wick... Whew. I'd have some things to do, Moody. I'd have some things to do. Wouldn't be any podcasts for a little while.
I feel like I should lock my door just because of my right opinions about
What'd you say about Titanfall? As I drive a car through your wall.
Here's Amy!
But yeah, it's a cool looking little indie game. I highly recommend you go wishlist it. And yeah, but what's your next game?
Winbound. I've been intrigued by this game ever since I saw it. The trailer that I really liked, the visuals look absolutely breathtaking, and the art style alone is just making me go, I gotta give you a try. It's coming, I believe. It's on coming to Xbox. I'm not sure if it is that Game Pass. I might be wrong there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It has a very unique style to it, which just speaks to me.
Yeah, I've seen this game. It's intriguing. It's not one of my most anticipated. I was actually looking at the Steam store page today, weirdly enough. Because it's out at the end of August.
Yeah, it's soon, yeah. It's not far away, so...
Trying to find sorry, I'm just trying to keep my list updated so I don't repeat what we've been talking about. I was trying to find Tell Me Why I was somewhere in the middle of it. My next game is Yakuza Like a Dragon, because it's a brand new jumping in point for people who want to get into Yakuza but can't because there's been 7 games and it's very difficult to jump in, especially with the way they release them in the West, where I can't even remember now. The first one, the first one came out, the remake of the first one, and then 0 came out, and then 6 came out, and then 2 came out, and then 3, 4, and 5, and it was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna play Judgment. But like, I tried a couple of them, and I was like, I'm really impressed by a lot of things in this world. I want to get into this world. I can't get into this world because the story's going way over my head.
Yeah.
And it's a massive time investment to get into. Like, now that even they're all available, it's like it's such a big commitment to play 7 Yakuza games. But guess what? Like a Dragon, new gameplay style, new city, new protagonist. I'm in. And the trailers and the gameplay and stuff that we've seen, like it's all call at me, Mooney. It's all call. You know how I love my weird weeby shit. It's everything about Like a Dragon.
You do like weird shit. There's no doubt about that.
That's true. Can't deny it. It's cool.
I am intrigued by this game. I don't deny that. I've never played it Yakuza though because of the things you literally just ranted off. They dropped 0, then they dropped this, and then they went to this number, then they went to this number, and then they went. I'm just like,
yeah,
it's like someone literally decided to drop all 22 films of the MCU in front of somebody in a random batshit crazy order. Yeah. There you go. That's the MCU. So, well, where the fuck did I start? I don't know.
Well,
take a while. So I'm like,
figure it out.
I know. I figured it out, and I was like, well, screw you.
Judgment is the perfect game for someone who's interested in Yakuza, but is intimidated by Yakuza. Because it's a brand new story, brand new characters. But it's the same gameplay in the same city. It's about lawyers instead of Yakuzas. There's lots of Yakuzas in it, but it's a really cool story. Kung Fu lawyers.
Kung Fu lawyers. You're just making me more insane.
No, that's just them.
Like the writers decided, what crazy thing can we create now?
You gotta have the Kung Fu fighting in the streets of Camarocho. Otherwise, you're not playing a Yakuza game.
If you say so.
Tell Like a Dragon, which fun fact that I'll never stop bringing up. Like Yakuza is the Western title of the series. Like a Dragon is the translated Japanese title of the series. They've literally done a Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Where the first part of the title is the Western title and the second part of the title is the Japanese title. And it's still the 7th game, so they did it at the same time. Well played, Sega.
Well played. My next game is from a company that is being a bit of a bastard of late, but I'm still excited for it, and that's Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, you mean the sex abusers?
Yeah, the bastards. Yeah.
Cool. I just didn't want to let that pass without comment. You can continue now.
That's fine. Yeah. Assassin's Creed rejuvenated when it came to Origins. Odyssey, I absolutely adored. It was one of my favorite games of 2018. And Valhalla coming back to England as a Viking. The gameplay, the little tweaks to the gameplay mechanic, but just from what they showed on the Ubi forward, backwards, up and down event, whatever the hell they want to call it.
Twirling towards freedom.
Yeah, something like that. The gameplay looked really good still. I really enjoyed the mechanical changes, what deciding what you choose, how you want to have your fighting style, so yeah, I am intrigued to see when this comes out.
Double shields intrigued me.
Coming out. Yeah.
Double shields intrigued me. I want to show it in
double Captain America. Double
like
Captain America.
2 times the captain. 2 times America's ass. It's an interesting looking game. I don't want to comment on too much on it. It's obviously not on my list. I don't want to comment too much on it because I don't even. Like we discussed last week, Monday. No, it's still this week. I don't know if I'll play it or not because of the aforementioned sex abusers thing. But cool. Like, it does look pretty neat. And I don't want to take away from all of the good people who have worked on Ubisoft games and not just the sex abusing twat heads.
Respect.
My next game is a Game Pass game. Hey, see that segue that I set up? Hey, I'm using it way too late. It's the Medium.
Is that this year?
It says 2020. I looked it up. I know, right?
I did not know that.
I was like, oh shit.
I won't lie. I didn't go very far to look for upcoming soon release dates.
I looked up a couple of them, just like as I was adding to the list. I was like, wait, is this? Check. Yeah, it is. It's what it says. I'm not expecting every single game that I name here to come out in 2020. Because it never happens. But yeah, the Medium. It's a cool ass looking horror game. We just talked about it on the Xbox Showcase video last week.
It was actually our game of the show.
It probably was.
I would say. Yeah. It was mine. That was guaranteed it's mine. I can say that.
Yeah, it was probably like a triple threat for me. I have 2 other games that I'll mention in a bit. But the Medium probably edges it for being like a new IP. Horror game. Like the first time we saw it back in May, I remember we both had that discussion of being like, is this secretly Silent Hill? And the fact that it looks like it could be secretly Silent Hill, that's enough for me. Like, you know how big a Silent Hill fan I am. Like, if someone's just sick of Konami and making a spiritual successor to Silent Hill, a worthy one, like, I'm in. I'm in all the way.
She is as well, is no.
Oh yeah, 100%. I did a 30-minute discussion last year on a podcast about Keith, about how Death Stranding was secretly Silent Hills.
I thought you said you did a 30-minute conversation about Keith. I thought that's what you said there.
No, I paused.
I was thinking, that's an interesting game.
I paused. Imagine Keith the video game, but no. I was like, I'm just trying to convince myself, just to like give me hope that Death Stranding was a Silent Hills game in secret, but it wasn't. It was Death Stranding. This looks like a really good horror game. That I'm.
The concept into. Alone, what they seemed like what they showed off at the Xbox event was the biggest standout about it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Go.
Next one is a game, like I said, like I've said on multiple times, like I don't know if I'll actually get to, but the developer alone makes me put this game down, and that's Cyberpunk 2077. Even though the game is going to be, I'll say right now, I think it's going to be a way too big of a game for me even to get to. I'll even throw Valhalla into there. I think there's a chance that's going to be too big of a game, just where I am in my life, especially as I'm going to be going back for a third year of college at the end of the year. It's if I'm going to be able to even play these games. I think it's going to be a lot of small games that like the small maybe the 20 to 30 hour experience from Spider-Man Miles Morales instead of the 50 to 60 to 70, 80 hour, 100 hour bloody type of experience what Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Cyberpunk 2077 could be giving us, which I think are going to guaranteed they're going to give us here. But no, the developer alone just itself just makes me go, it's Cyberpunk, it's CD Projekt Red, they're a fantastic developer. Questionable certain things of what you've brought up before, there's no doubt about that. What they've talked about, but I'm still excited to see. I'm excited to see the hype for this game and to see if it hits the hype of what everyone's hoping it to do.
That's fair enough. My next game is coming out around the same time, probably. It's Halo Infinite, because it's fucking Halo. That's all I need to say. We're doing a month-long worth of charity streams about of Halo games. Because of how much I love Halo. I mean,
how much Amy wants to get me to fall in love with Halo.
in defense of all of that, it was Keith's idea. So really, it's happening because of how much Keith loves Halo. But Keith only loves Halo because I loved Halo, and I dragged him along with me while I was playing Halo. Like in Halo Infinite, it looks like it's going back to its roots. It's adding some new stuff. Grappling hook, open environments. I don't want to call it open world because I don't know if it's going to be open world or if it's just environments that are open. But either way, like it looks cool. Tackling your objectives in whatever order. Like we need that story trailer. We need that Remember H trailer or the Starry Night trailer just to sell me on the fiction of it all. Like. Seen the gameplay. The gameplay looks cool. Seen people talk shit about the graphics. I don't give a fuck about the graphics. I don't give a fuck what it looks like. Does it work? Is it good? Is you know what I mean? Like those are my questions that need answering. But like I'm excited for it. And going back to our conversation on Monday's podcast, I don't have to worry about playing it, Moody. Like. There's no anxiety for me to be like, shit, this game's going to cost me £600. It's like, it's going to cost me nothing because I have a Game Pass subscription.
That's
bought and paid for.
Yeah, that is true. It's not on my list, but I think, like I said, what we believe is going to be a co-op in it, I believe.
It's always co-op. Like Halo's been co-op since the beginning.
So that's the thing about it. I think I'm going to hopefully have more fun playing it if you and me team up on it. So
we'll probably just play the thing. Me, you, and Keith.
You and me going to be going through it on the live stream for the charities and everything for 1, 2, 3, and 4, I believe.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reach, and we'll see about ODST.
Yeah.
See if Keith's around because he'll need to get us through that game.
Mm-hmm. And because I've never played a single. Well, I started Reach, and I haven't got far in it at all. So
it's fair, like I say, like I don't know if you're gonna like them, not because they're not good games, but because they're games out of time. If you're playing them in 2020, it's like when I played the Nathan Drake collection when it came out, and I played Uncharted 1, and I was like, I like the story, I like the characters, this gameplay sucks ass, and it's not the game's fault. It's because of when it came out. Like in the intervening time between Uncharted coming out and when I played it, like the third person adventure action genre had been refined quite considerably to the point where you go back and it's like, oh, it's a bit clunky. Oh, the combat's a bit clunky. The platform is a bit clunky, but I can forgive all games like that. And I think like with Halo 1 and 2 especially, I feel like that, but because I've played thousands of hours in both of them, I'm used to it. Shout out to the multiplayer as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what Infinite's multiplayer looks like, because as if I just aforementioned, I've played thousands of hours of some Halo games. And if Infinite's multiplayer is up to scratch, sorry Apex, but I'm going home.
Yo. Seriously?
Okay.
You two got me into it and you're going to abandon me?
Halo's my home. Always has been. It was the first multiplayer game I ever played online. And it'll be the last multiplayer game I ever play online. Alright, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true.
You know something we don't know?
I just saw what my next game is.
My next game is Bugsnax.
Ooh. Sorry, I missed my cue.
It's the thing that everyone remembers from the PlayStation conference.
The breakout announcement of the PlayStation 5 conference was Bugsnax. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I am. I really am. Like, you can't help...
Do we have any idea what this game is?
No.
No. Not at all.
No, but you can't help but get swept away in the hype of it. When it's something wholesome like this, right? When it's just like... It was the theme tune that really did it. In terms of like why this game broke out in the way that it did. And then the weird cryptic tweets from the developer that suggest that this might not just be a fun, cute adventure game about eating bug snacks and getting strawberry arms and
wiener arms,
hamburger heads and stuff. Like it seems like there's more going on with the game, and like there's been games like that in the past. Like I have a T-shirt in my wardrobe for Doki Doki Literature Club, which is just a fun, cute, dating sim visual novel. Wink. And I feel like I love games that do that. Where it's like they pull you in with this one thing, and then they just pull the rug out from underneath you, and become this entirely different experience. Like those are memorable, and like I guess that's where my hype's coming from for Bugsnax. And hey, if it is just a cute, wholesome adventure game about eating bug snacks, I'm sure it'll be fun. Pop Agenda are doing the PR for it. I've never played a bad Pop Agenda PR represented game. That's
cool.
Jen's company. I don't say a full name because I can't pronounce it and I butcher it. Was actually, yeah, well, I'm just going to delete that off my list because that was also on my list. My next one's Deathloop. Which PlayStation 5 reveal event again. Like
exclusive
PS5 and PC.
Mm-hmm.
So at least I know I can play it. Like if I don't get a PS5, unlike Spider-Man. But the like they debuted the trailer for it in 2019 at E3, and it was one of those things where it was like, looks cool, but I don't know what this game is. Like it was never clear what kind of game it was. And then at the PS5 reveal event, it was like, this is the game, this is what you do, this is how it works, this is what it looks like. And then by the end of that, I was like, shit, yeah, I mean, sounds amazing. Like it's like Dishonored, but instead of sneaking around, kill everyone. Like,
I like how you say that. Kill everyone.
Kill everyone. You get killed, no big deal. You're in a death loop. You just go back at the beginning, do it all again. Oh, and there's someone hunting you who may or may not be being controlled by a player. awesome. Awesome. That sounds like fun. Yeah, like it was my game of the PS5 reveal. Like my favorite game from that. Just with us talking about game of the show, the Xbox thing. So I'm super excited for Deathloop. As far as like anticipation for games go, it's probably my most anticipated game of the year that isn't Vampire. But Vampire is a nostalgia thing. Like I played the original game when it first came out. I've played it many times since. I've played the tabletop RPG. I have a love and affinity for the world. Whereas with Deathloop, it is just like that game looks fucking sick. Like I've seen it and it looks fantastic for me.
Yeah, I have no interest in this game. No offense. But,
We're only talking about cohorts. You were wrong. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you got rid of the last one, didn't you, Keith? So,
I did. I fired him.
And then you brought me in, who was always right, so it's all right. So don't worry.
You know, I can call Patrick anytime I want.
Who?
The co-host who was around when you were starting out. You remember how you went on every podcast?
No.
He's very nice and he has a very cute dog. You would know that if you ever bothered watching the podcast you went on.
That may be true. There's no doubt about it.
It may be true.
It can't have been that good because he must have had wrong takes because he's obviously not here. So it's all right.
Well, it's just because you kept messaging me going, "We doing a podcast?" You just
no, I didn't. You messaged me.
No. What happened was we were doing a podcast, and then you mentioned you just do this every week, and I was like, "All right, it saves me bother." That saves me bother. And then we did it every week. You already know how I feel about you as a podcast co-host, Mary. I opened my heart to you.
She did, Amy.
2 weeks ago.
Yes, she did.
So whenever I talk shit about you, just remember the one moment of realness from a couple of weeks ago.
You gave us a lot of realness a couple of weeks ago. That's true. And I'm ready for a re-reckoning, Amy.
Are you?
That's Kingdoms of Avalor. That's the next game. Yeah, it's a remastered, but it's Kingdoms of Avalor. I loved the gameplay of this game. It was absolutely phenomenal. And if they've got that again and it hasn't changed, it is just the same as what it was, just improved graphics and everything like that. I cannot ask for much more. Yeah, I can't ask for much more. It's basically the gameplay is basically what looked like what Valhalla's doing. So,
yeah, I mean, I played it when it came out, 2012.
Yeah, it came out 6 months after Skyrim, I believe.
Yeah, so it's a great game. There's no denying it. Like I enjoyed the heck out of it. It's not a game I want to play, so it's not. I haven't put it on this list. One, I don't have time. I don't have time for remasters, especially in 2020 where it's like games come out literally every day. And obviously there's the THQ Nordic thing, which is my own personal business that I don't put on anyone else. But Kings of Amalur, the original, was good. So if this is just a translation of that original game, it's going to be a good game. It's better than Skyrim.
I have 2 more after this.
Don't at me. I have a few more after this, but I've grouped 3 of them together as games I'm pretty sure aren't coming out in 2020, but they still say they are. And then I've got 4 other ones. I think I'm going to skip that one for now because I think it's on your list. I'd be surprised if it's not on your list. So I'm going to go down to Lake, which says it's coming out in 2020, which is the cool, chilled as fuck game where you play as a postal. You deliver packages in this small town, and you just drive around giving people their packages and talking to them. It was the Guerrilla Collective, I believe, that was showing up, and I was like, this looks awesome. Like, after watching hundreds of trailers about explosions and death and destruction and blood, and then it was like, drive a van around, give old people packages, have a bit of banter with them, drive to the next place. I was like,
what I need after
that's better.
Pew 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 pew.
It's like bang bang stab boo explosion spaceships orcs vampire, like, yeah. Like, I love chilled out, relaxing games. And Lake looks like it's gonna be a game I'm just gonna play one weekend. Love it to bits.
Awesome.
And never shut up about it.
Cool. Cool indeed. My next one is Kenneth, Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah.
Really liked the look of this game. I thought the game looked really canny. Loved the trailer from
Kubo the
PlayStation
game.
5 conference.
Kubo the game.
Kubo the game, yes, that is true. Can't say anything more about it like that. Like I say, it's a good looking game. It's beautiful visuals. The gameplay looks like it's just nice and simple, but with an interesting story that's I think is going to be deeper than a lot of people I think are giving it credit for.
Yeah, 100% on that one. With you 100% on that one. Like, it's going to get you.
Yeah, I think this is a game that people actually might sleep on, which is going to be
maybe.
Insult.
I think if people sleep on it, I think it's just going to be. I think people are going to sleep on a lot of smaller games, just purely because of the volume of game releases that are happening in the last 5 months of 2020. Not necessarily because people aren't like, oh, Kenneth like looks interesting. Or like not because people don't think it looks good. I think it's just going to be shit. It looks great, but also he has Spider-Man and he has Deathloop and he has Halo and he has, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Because like you're saying, like you think people are going to sleep on it, Moody. It's not on my list because I completely forgot it existed. Like, but as soon as you mentioned it, case in point. It's like, but as soon as you mentioned it, I was like, yes, I remember that game from the PS5 reveal. It looked cool as fuck. When I say Kubo the game, I am joking, but also, like, I say that because Kubo was a fucking amazing film. And it hits like this game, Bridge of Spirits, looks like it hits the same tone. It's got the cute little forest critters, spirit critters as well, going for it. But yeah, if I remember it when it comes out, I sure should play the fuck out of it. My next one's not a game; it's an expansion. That's coming in Game Pass on November 10th. Along with the entire rest of the game. Because you know me, I'm a Destiny fan. I play Destiny, not at the moment because aforementioned games daily coming out. Destiny 2 Beyond Light looks cool. We're going to get a big new story. We're going to get loads of new locations to explore. It's going to be in Game Pass, so it's going to be much easier to try and convince people to come along for the ride with me instead of like downloading the free version and then some stuff we can do together and other stuff that we can't do together, and none of that. We've all got all the right content once I move my account over to Xbox.
We might have Foxes joining us.
There's you go. We got a fire team right there. Yeah,
I know he likes the Destinies.
I like Destiny a lot. Like, it's not like I would never put it in a game of the year list. Like, Beyond Light comes out and it's going to be great, I'm sure. And it's like, at no point is it ever going to enter my mind to go, it's going to be on my GOTY list, because it's not that kind of game for me. It's the kind of game where it's like, I got some time to kill. I want to play something, but I don't want to play anything too taxing. Like, nothing that I have to concentrate on very much. It's my podcast game, quote unquote, whether I'm listening to a podcast or not. It's my, stick a podcast on, sit back, relax, shoot aliens. Or robots. Or alien robots. So you've got one more, I've got two, and then a couple of probably not coming out.
Well, we'll shout out my last one, and then the floor is yours, Amy's, after this. Boyfriend Dungeon.
That's on my list. I've got one more.
Yeah,
I skipped that one because I was like, I'm sure he's got it on his list.
Yeah, I just love the trailer. The concept, the whole thing was absolutely fantastic. Can't ask for much more than that for me personally.
Yeah, the concept of
I also got it on the other competition that we're doing it. Yeah, just to spite Amy, ladies and gentlemen.
The Fantasy Critic.
That's it. I keep forgetting it's called Fantasy Critic. Don't know why.
Was it? It's fantasycritic.games. And then if you search for the words of that game is Battle Royale 2020, you'll find our league. Moody's in the lead by like a few points. It was more, but Paper Mario's critic score keeps going down.
Story of my fucking life, that like, it really is.
Yeah.
Story of my
I got Fall Guys in a couple of days. Retaking the lead, thank you very much. Yeah, no, Boyfriend Dungeon. I've been hyped for this game for a couple of years. It's Kit Fox Games. They've made small games. I can't remember the first game. I got a game off them a few years ago. It was like this cool co-op action RPG top-down thing. And I've been following along with them ever since. But when Boyfriend Dungeon was like the thing they were talking about, I remember just being like, "Holy fuck, where's this game been all my life?" You get weapons, and you date the weapons, and then you take the weapons into the dungeons and stab things with the weapons, and then you bring them back home and take them on dates because they're also sexy people. I don't need any other video games.
Sexy people.
Sexy people. It's very diverse. It's very inclusive, which is always a nice thing for a game like this.
Well, that's what I'm happy to see in a lot of games these days. It is slowly starting to happen more and more, which is good to see.
Yeah, it is. Go follow the communications director for Kit Fox Games, at the VTran, because she puts some stuff on her Twitter. She does some TikToks, and they're legit some of the funniest content I see on Twitter on a daily basis. And she's a really nice person too. So my last, probably coming out in 2020 game is Outriders. It comes off of the back of talking about Destiny 2, where it's like, it could be a game, like it's a game I'm definitely interested to try. And it could be a game where it's like, it's my live service, put a podcast on, sit back and shoot aliens game. It looks interesting. They've done two developer live streams in the past couple of months where I've been like, this looks like it could be pretty cool for me, for someone who's looking for that kind of game in their lives. And I'm always looking for the next one. And you'll notice Avengers didn't make this list. Because I don't think that's going to be the next one. I don't think that's going to be my sit back, put a podcast on, I guess punch monsters instead of shoot aliens, but the concept's the same.
I think that's going to be a game that's going to fuck me as well.
I think the story's going to be good. I don't know how it's going to work structurally with the whole game. I'll find out next month. Not next month, in September, I guess. Well, might as well be next month. But for Outriders, like I've seen, like people played it at a preview of it just before America got locked down. So I've seen some people whose opinions I appreciate have played it, talk about it. They said it was a fun game. So I'm keeping an eye on it. It'll be cool. It's at the bottom of this list because most of this list isn't in any particular order. Outriders might come out in 2020, but it might not. I don't know. I've got this feeling, and when I have that feeling, games tend to get delayed. So I got 3 indie games. Sorry?
No, sorry.
Am I having that feeling about what?
I was going to say, can you have that feeling for Watch Dogs 3?
No, that game's definitely coming out. Sorry. I've got 3 indie games on here where I have that feeling that I don't know if they're coming out because I haven't heard about them in so long. The first one is Axiom Verge 2, which Axiom Verge, amazing game. Very, very well made. I want to call it a Metroidvania, but it kind of almost feels like a spiritual successor to Super Metroid. So I feel like calling it a Metroidvania would actually be doing the game a disservice. Like, I loved that game when it came out. I spent a good few days, just like every day, every night. I'd get in, I'd sit down, I'd play it, I'd explore more of the world, I'd beat a boss, I'd get a new power up, and then I'd go away, come out the next day, and I'd find the next boss, and so on and so forth. I was sharing clips of beating bosses because those bosses were motherfuckers. Who would routinely kick the shit out of me. Um, love the fact that there's a sequel. Didn't think we were going to get a sequel. I just assumed the developer would make something else, but I'm happy we're getting an Axiom Verge 2. The one of the other two games is Spiritfarer, which is famously the game that came after Keanu Reeves in E3 last year. Played a demo for it. It is a very fun game. It's going to make me weep buckets because the entire theme of the game is about death and moving on. And even in the demo, like, I didn't even hit on any of those themes. Like, I brushed up against them in the demo, but I could already feel the feelings like that I know are gonna just burst like a dam when I play the full game. So the fact that the demo almost got me there, was a really good sign for this game. Plus, when you interact with all of the characters on your boat, there's a dedicated command to hug them. And we all need a game like that in 2020.
Right now, we all need a game that's going to go
like,
to big old warm
you can go up to any character on your boat, and you just go up to them, and you push the thing, and then you hug them, and then they go, huh? And then they go, oh. And then, like, they got it's just this really wholesome moment. It's just, it's what I need, really. Hugs. I haven't hugged anyone in so long. Because I'm afraid of catching a deadly virus. Thanks, 2020. And lastly, Sable. I know I want this game, but I don't even know that much about it. It was at E3 a couple years ago.
Oh, bloody hell.
It's supposed to be coming out this year. It looks incredible. Like, as far as art styles go, it's one of my favorite looking games that isn't out yet. I think it's some kind of adventure game. But it's one of those where it's like it's been stored in the back of my brain for a while, and I know it's supposed to be coming out, and I know I'm excited for it, but I can't really remember why. But I feel like when it gets here, I'll remember, and then I'll be like, this is great. So I want to give it a shout out here, but I was hoping to see it last week at the Xbox thing, didn't, and that's why I've got that feeling where it's like, I don't know if because it's an ID at Xbox game, or it was a couple of years ago. It's like, I don't know if you're coming out. I don't want to bet anything on you coming out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we're coming down now to the last August, where really, if you're coming out this year, you're gonna reveal yourself in August.
Yeah,
I can't see anyone else really holding out now till late now.
Apart from COD, which is inexplicably still not a thing, which I think we might talk about.
We know it is. It's probably going to be the Xbox or PlayStation. Then also it'll be a Jeff Keighley's game home thingy.
That's really late, but I think we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about COD a bit this week's podcast, because kind of like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? It's like, where in the world is Call of Duty? But apart from COD, I don't think no AAA games are going to suddenly be like, we're coming out in November, because I think no. Like, big games need lead-ins. Indie games can send me an email and be like, we're coming out on Thursday. And I'll be like, it's fucking Tuesday, guys. I've literally had that happen before. So it's like, with indie games, it is a bit more volatile, and it is a bit more, like, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Like, they can announce a release date like a couple of weeks before the release date, and everyone will, because people are the people who are excited are the people who are invested enough to be like, yes, finally, rather than like completely gloss over it. And that's it. That's all my games. So it's probably a very different list from the one in January that I put out there. Mostly because things like Final Fantasy and The Last of Us and Animal Crossing have all come out. Already played them. Can't really anticipate them. So I think that's going to do it.
I have gone back to Boomerang, and that game's on the way to me.
Final Fantasy. Must be.
Yeah.
Because you've already played Animal Crossing and The Last of Us. And you own The Last of Us. So... Took me a second. I had to do the mental arithmetic because I'd named all three games, and I was like, which game?
Of course, it's Tsushima on the way as well. So I'm gonna go. Do Final Fantasy 7. See if I like it. See if I
I
enjoy
hope
it.
you do, because like it holds up. Like I know this is threatening to turn into an entirely different podcast. A Game of the Year podcast in July, which I said I would never do, but it holds up against the original. Like, is it better than the original? Some people will tell you that they prefer it. Me, it's not finished, so I don't know if that makes sense. And I think if you play it and get all the way through it, you'll understand why I say, wow.
Oh, but you had a good time, though.
But
Like
I
you
loved.
said.
Oh, I fucking loved it. Like absolutely adored what we've gotten so far of Final Fantasy VII remake.
Which is good. That's what you want to hear. So.
Yeah. But yeah. Before we threaten to turn this into a Game of the Year so far podcast, we should bounce. I think we'll do another podcast like this for the rest of the year. But
Yeah, I don't think we'll need it. So.
no, we'll do an actual Game of the Year talk, like in December.
Yeah,
Like, I've already got it all thought out. Because now I've got a co-host who plays new games. We could do a podcast. So we'll do the normal podcast before our 2-week break, where we just talk about how shit Ubisoft is. And then it'll be 3 days of my top 30 games of the year list. And then the last video before we go on the Christmas break, it'll just be me and Moody pretending we're the Game Awards and giving out awards to all these different games that I've made up as excuses to talk about all sorts of different types of games that came out in 2020. And it won't be the same 3 games over and over again, because Moody plays bunches of games. Moody getting Ghost of Tsushima and Final Fantasy VII Remake, or like, that's already put you like on a par with the person who I used to do those types of podcasts with. Because you played 2 of the biggest releases of the year. Because that's all it takes. Oh, that's good.
I've played what? I've played Ori.
You've played most of the big releases.
Yeah, Resi 3.
Unless they don't interest you. Which is fair.
Yeah. I tried Animal Crossing just by the end of it. I was just
You've tried them.
I can't get into it. Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You've tried them. Like, those are what my impressions videos are. Like, I try games. I only finish the ones I really like. Like when
I keep going back to Legends of Runeterra sometimes.
Like when I put out my Final Fantasy VII video, I was 10 hours into the game, and then I finished it. Like after that, it's like, because but then it's like it'd be something like, I don't know what game, like a game I didn't go back to finish. It escapes me. There must have been Half-Life. Like, I did the thing, I did the video, it was a really cool game, it's gonna be near the top, but I didn't finish it, because it's scary. It's too scary. Who wants head crabs jumping in their actual faces? Too much, couldn't handle it.
Too much detail.
You saw the clip I put out on Twitter, where I had the fight with the crab. I ran out of ammo and the crab jumped on me, and I
If you want to see what it feels like to be hit by a face hugger, ladies and gentlemen, watch the clip of Amy.
I always do stupid shit like that. I remember doing an Oculus Rift demo at EGX and playing, what do you want to play? Alien Isolation. Because I'm fucking crazy. I got the headset strapped on, it loaded me in, and I was like, I looked around and went, this is fucking awesome, because it looked just like Alien, right? And I was like, fuck, this is amazing. And then I heard the ka-ding-ding, and then I heard the hiss, and I was like, I've made the worst mistake of my entire life.
Oh no.
I lasted 3.5 minutes. I tried to roll for it, and then I just the tail came through the chest. But I was in VR, and it was like the second ever time I'd ever played VR, and I was like, oh fuck. And then its head came over the top, and I was catatonic. I'd been paralyzed by fear, which is good because it means in the middle of EGX I wasn't screaming. But mistakes were made. Like, I reevaluated how I just make life decisions in that moment. That's going to do it for this post-show discussion on a discussions podcast, which technically is the post-show type deal. Moody, say a quick outro and get us out of here.
You've heard us, ladies and gentlemen, talking about our games we're most anticipated for the rest of 2020. What is 2020? It's the year that never ends, but we've still got games that we're interested in. Let us know what your games that you're interested in the rest of the year. Let us know if we're wrong. I'll tell you right now, I'm never wrong, just to let you know that. And Amy, well, she's Amy, so don't worry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
All the
time. We love you, and we'll happily leave you with all these great games we talked about. Bye, everybody.